Good morning, students. Welcome to Module 5 of Cell, the Fundamental Unit of Life. In this module, we are going to study about cell division and the two processes through which it is achieved. That is mitosis and meiosis. These two processes are very important for life to continue on Earth. Cell division. What is cell division? Cell division actually is the process through which new cells are made, and all kinds of growth and reproduction of cells is made possible only through the process of cell division. As we studied earlier, that eukaryotic cells are advanced type of cells while prokaryotic cells are primitive type of cells. So primitive cells usually go for the simpler processes. So in their case, cell division happens by a very simple process called mitosis, and in case of eukaryotic cells, the division of the cell can occur in two ways. Some of the cells can divide by mitosis and the others can divide by meiosis. These are generally called and seen as nuclear divisions, as you can see in the picture, nuclear divisions. They also share, both mitosis and meiosis share simple or same characteristics, but they differ in some ways. Let's find out how. Moving to mitosis. Mitosis, as you can see in the picture, it looks very beautiful, but if you see clearly and if you focus on the detail, you can see what is exactly happening in the pictures. But let's get to know mitosis first. Now, mitosis is a simple process of asexual reproduction that results in two daughter cells, each having same number and same kinds of chromosomes as the parent nucleus. This is commonly seen in the growth of the cells of normal tissue in the body. As you can see in the picture, steps are shown: step 1, step 2, step 3 and step 4. We will discuss this in detail here. So let's go through the steps of mitosis. We are going to compare the left hand side picture with that of the right hand side picture, which are the real pictures of the cells going through the steps of mitosis. So as you can see in the first picture on both sides, it is the starting cell, the parent cell, as it looks right before the mitosis process. So in step 2, as you can see, in the first step you can see that the DNA strands are single, and in the step 2 you can see the DNA has replicated and has doubled itself. So first, in the parent body there were one strand each, and now you can see each strand has doubled. So DNA has replicated or made a copy of itself. Why is this copy prepared? So that when the two new daughter cells are formed, they get equal amount of DNA and similar quality of DNA. So each strand duplicated itself, which means, as you can see in the picture on the right hand side, second picture on the right hand side also, all the strands are, suddenly the amount is doubled. In step 3, you can see that all of these chromosomes, newly formed chromosomes, are now arranged on an axis, probably in the center of the cell. Now on the right hand side also you can see the same. All the chromosomes have arranged themselves and they are ready to be separated. In step 4, they are suddenly pulled apart. These chromosomes are pulled exactly in halves, exact equals to the opposite sides of the cell, and you can see the cytoplasmic division is also beginning in this. You can match the picture from the left hand side step 4 to right hand side step 4. Then in the next stage you can see the cytoplasm has also completely divided and separated from each other, and both the new daughter cells are formed, which are absolutely identical. They look exactly like the parent cell. They contain same number of chromosomes and same amount of genetic material. So these are daughter cells produced as a result of mitosis. I hope you understood the process. Let's move on to the next process that helps in cell division. Meiosis. What is meiosis? Meiosis is a process where a single cell divides twice, that is 2 times, to produce 4 cells, but they do not contain the same amount of genetic material. They contain half the original amount of genetic information present with the parent. As you can compare in the picture, Now these new cells are called as the gametes or the sex cells, examples of which are sperm cells in males and eggs in or ova in females. During meiosis, one cell divides twice to form 4 daughter cells, and these daughter cells are actually gametes. Let's see how this happens. So let's see what is happening here. In meiosis, what happened in mitosis actually is happening here twice. So let's see. Let's only go through the left hand side picture first, and then we will see some of the stages of this whole process are shown on the right hand side. Some important steps are shown in the real pictures of the cell. So at the first stage, you can see the parent cell containing those 2 strands as they are present right before the mitotic division begins. So if you see the similarity, the parent cell is in the same stage in both cases. So when mitotic division 1 starts, what happens is, again, the DNA replicates and recombines and produces more copies of itself. It actually doubles itself because it is to be divided into 2 different cells now. In the next stage, you can see as we come down to the next stage, cell division, first cell division, when it happens, it is divided equally into 2 cells, and you can see that you can see the red chromosome and the blue chromosome in the step 3. It also contains a little portion. The red chromosome contains a little portion of blue, and the blue chromosome contains a little portion of red chromosome. This is called recombination, where the mixing of the genes has happened. Interaction between the 2 kind of chromosomes, so the 2 genetic materials that have come from the parent. When these combine, they form new type of cells. Now when these 2 cells have separated, 2 new daughter cells have formed, and you can see them as the first step of mitotic division 2. So in this case, these 2 daughter cells formed as a result of the first division, that which is very similar to what happened in mitosis, are now going to go through the same process second time. This just doesn't stop here. This goes on again. Now these 2 strands, or you can see on either side, these 2 red strands get separated. Similarly, the blue strands also are getting separated, and they are separating into 2 cells each, forming 4 different cells containing, if you now compare the amount of genetic material present in the 4 cells formed below with that of the one parent cell from where we began, it is exactly the half amount to that of the parent cell. These cells are also called as haploid because they contain half of the genetic information. These are also called as gametes or sex cells. On the right hand side, first picture from the top, you can see that the chromosomes are arranged in line, ready to be separated. In the next picture, you can see that chromosomes are separated for the first time into 2 halves. In picture number 3, below first picture, you can see on the right side that the 2 new cells have formed as a result of the first cell division. Then the same process repeats in the next stage. Again, the cells are doubling up and are getting ready for another division. And in the next picture below, you can see the 4 new gametes or the new cells are formed, and last picture shows the complete segregated 4 separate cells. Right? So I hope this helps you clear up meiosis. Moving on to the real comparison between the two. If you can see, it is the pictorial comparison between the mitosis and meiosis. So we have just now discussed the same. Moving to the real literal difference between the two. Mitosis occurs in the body cells, that is, not in the reproductive cells in all the other tissues of the body, while meiosis occurs in the gametes or in the reproductive cells. In case of mitosis, the division happens only once, while in case of meiosis, the division happens 2 times, as we have just seen. Mitosis also creates just 2 cells, while meiosis creates 4 new cells. The cells created as a result of mitosis are genetically identical. Do you remember that? The parent and the daughter cells were exactly similar. in case of mitosis. While in case of meiosis, they are not genetically identical because they contain half the amount of genetic material. The daughter cells contain half the amount of genetic material. And because there is some kind of mixing of gametes, mixing of genetic material happening, if you remember, the red strands had a little piece of blue strand and the blue strand had a little piece of red strand, that caused more genetic diversity, more variation. This actually helps in the process of evolution. Since in mitosis, nothing like that is happening, that is why this is contributing, this process of mitosis, or you can say asexual reproduction, is contributing a little less to the process of evolution in comparison to meiotic divisions. What are the general similarities? Both contain new cells. Both replicate the DNA at least once. Let's discuss some more similarities between meiosis and mitosis. In both mitosis and meiosis, we start with the same diploid parents. Let's say the diploid count for any particular organism is 46. So if the cells of the body tissues of this organisms are undergoing cell division, they undergo mitosis, and the same diploid parent cell will divide into two new daughter cells in case of mitosis and will have the same count of 46 chromosomes. But if in the same organism, if the reproductive cells undergo the process of cell division, they will follow meiosis and will divide twice, and as a result of which four gamete cells will be produced containing half the number of chromosomes, that is 23. The full count was the diploid count 46, and half count, the gametes formed are haploid, that is contain half the number of chromosomes. So in both cases, whether mitosis or meiosis, we start with the diploid, the complete set of chromosomes. Second similarity is that in both the cases, sister chromatids line up before dividing. You remember step 3 of mitosis and that of meiosis. In both the cases, the chromosomes line up right before they are ready to be pulled apart in two different directions, exactly in their exact halves. Next similarity is that they both involve separation of the sister chromatids and formation of new daughter chromosomes. So that was a step 4, that when they get divided, pulled apart in two different directions, exact half of that genetic material gets divided and new chromosomes are formed, which are the daughter chromosomes. And last similarity would be that they both end up with cytoplasm division. Cytoplasm also gets pinched off equally into two equal halves, leading to the production of individual cells. So these are some of the similarities that you see in these two types of cell divisions. Moving on to a little task for you, mitosis and meiosis. You have to draw these two in your notebook so as to have a better understanding. I hope you have understood and have learned some about the cell division process. With this, we come to end of module 5 and to end of Cell, the fundamental unit of life. Happy learning to you.